So while you do the warm-up problem, I will talk about good news for you. The good news is that you have 2 days remaining of actual new notes this semester. You've got today and you've got Wednesday. That's it for new notes. Okay? Then this week, Thursday, is a quiz, summative quiz this week, Thursday. Friday, we don't have school, that's why we're doing it on Thursday. Then next week, Monday and Wednesday, will be a review of Unit 8. Unit 8 is kind of long, so we're going to do a review over the course of 2 days. Then the Thursday, the 2nd of May, is going to be your test. And then we'll start reviewing for your NTC final, and you'll take your NTC final on the 9th and the 10th of May. 100%. It's your second semester final and your NTC final, yes. It was 15 before, so it'll be the second half, so it'll be the other 15. And you probably won't need the full 2 hours to do it, but we're giving you 2 hours so that you have time. So far in this class, we have taught you 4 ways to solve a system of equations. Give me one of them. Substitution is one. Give me another one.
Elimination.
Elimination is another one. Give me another one. We probably rarely ever use it. We try to keep it pure element. Except for the G. Graphing. Another one's even more algebra. You might use it. Start with an M.
Matrix.
So you got 4 tools in your toolbox to use to solve this system of equations. First one to say which way we're going to do it gets to see it done now. Substitution, I heard first. Okay? So if I'm going to go with substitution, BFG, what am I going to do? Do you remember what the first step for substitution was? Okay, so solve one of the equations for one of the variables, but in this case, we always pick the easy one because we're lazy by nature. And so you're choosing second equation for x. Okay? And so you're going to add 10y to both sides on this one. And that's going to give you x equals 6 plus 10y. Right? Okay? Then what do I do next? Plug that in for x in my other equation. Okay, so it's going to be 3. Now instead of x, it's going to be times 6 plus 10y plus 4y equals 1. Distribute. Subtract 18 from both sides. Divide both sides by 34. Y is negative 1/2. Okay. Then what? Plug that back into this x equation, right? 10 times negative 1/2 is negative 5. 6 plus negative 5 is 1. Then 1. Two more steps to go. Then 1. Plug them both back in to check it. Yep. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times negative 1/2 is negative 2. 3 plus negative 2 is 1. Checks out there. 1 is 1. Negative 1/2 times 10 is negative 5. 1 minus negative 5 is 6. Checks out both. Now, write it as a point because it's a point in space. So we're going to write it as a point 1, comma, negative 1. Okay. Good times. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take what that was, a system of linear equations. Okay? And we solved that up until this point. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take a system of quadratic equations, meaning we are going to intersect a line and a circle, or we're going to intersect two parabolas, or we're going to intersect a line and a parabola, or an ellipse and a parabola, or an ellipse and a circle, or an ellipse and a hyperbola, or any of the 4 conic sections that we've been learning these last 5 weeks, and now with a line. Okay, so we got 5 different combinations of 2 to choose from. As you can see, typically in a line, we can intersect in 1, 2, or 0 spots. And we will get no solutions for some of these answers. Okay? But if we go to another set of a conic, like here in this ellipse and a parabola type one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 intersection points that we all need to find. Okay? So it all depends on what you're dealing with as to how many answers you're going to get. You can get a lot of answers in these very quickly. Okay? This should all be on your supplemental note sheet. I just brought it back up just to make sure that you have it all in your supplemental note sheet. But that's the equations that we're going to be dealing with in this same fashion. So this right here, this is a quadratic system of equations because it has a squared term. It's a quadratic system of equations. Okay? Same as what we had before. Okay? Right? When we had 3x minus or plus 4y equals 1 and x minus 10y equals 6, same type of a thing. This is we're asking, I should say, if this point right here is a solution to this system. How do I go about figuring out if that point is a solution to that system? Plug it in. Yep, I plug in 2 for x and 1 for y. Okay? So I'm going to plug in 2 for x, and I'm going to plug in negative 1 for y. So that's going to then tell me that I have negative 1 is equal to negative 2 times 2 plus 3. Negative 2 times 2. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1 equal to negative 1. Yep, so it works out in the first one. Is it a solution to the system? No. We don't know yet. Okay? It works on the first one, so we know that we have to keep going. If it didn't work in the first one, we should go back, check our math to make sure we did our math right, and if it doesn't work again, then we're done. Because it doesn't work in there.
It has to work for both.
Okay? It has to work in both, correct. Okay? So then we get -1 equals +2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 3. 2 squared is 4. 6 times 2 is 12, so that's -12 plus 3. 4 minus 12 is -8. -8 plus 3 is -5. Is -5 equal to -1?
No.
No. So this does not work, so this is not a solution. Has to work in both in order for it to be a solution. Okay. So let's go about actually solving quadratic systems of equations. Today we're going to focus in on the substitution method for solving a quadratic system of equations. Wednesday we will focus in on elimination to solve a quadratic system. You need to use both because it's not like a linear system where they're interchangeable. Sometimes you can use substitution, sometimes you can use elimination, but not all the time can you use elimination, and all the time can you use substitution. Okay? So you got to know both methods. Okay? Substitution step number 1 is very much similar to the last when we were doing it in linears. We're going to solve one of our equations for either x or y. And again, that might be done for you because it might be in y equals mx plus b form. That you might have to do a little bit of math there, or you might have to find a good equation to solve for. Okay? Either way, that's fine. In this particular case, that is done for us because our given equation was y. Okay? Step number 2 says we're going to take this, the part that y is equal to, and we are going to replace it, we're going to substitute it back into the other equation in place of y. So then this becomes x squared plus, now instead of y, we're going to say x minus 1, and then that's going to be 13. Don't be a bad maths type of person. A plus b quantity squared does not equal a squared plus b squared. That is bad maths. That's Hall of Fame bad maths right there. Okay? So really, what this means is this means x minus 1 times x minus 1. Gotta remember your exponents. And so then you need to double distribute. So you get x squared minus 2x plus 1. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications on how I got x squared minus 2x plus 1. Okay. Now, in order to solve this, you are going to more than likely get it equal to 0. And then you can factor. All right? So if I get this equal to 0, I would get 2x squared minus 2x minus 12 equals 0. Can I GCF anything else, since that's our first two? Always in factoring, I can factor out a 2. That leaves me with x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. X squared minus x minus 6. Does it factor? For what? Do we agree with x plus 3 and x minus 2? I don't know, you tell me. X minus 3? And x plus 2? Yeah? Because now I get a negative 1 there. Yep. Okay. Then what? What do I equal to 0? So I would say 2 equals 0. I would say x minus 3 equals 0. And x plus 2 equals 0. Okay. 2 equals 0. That just doesn't work, right? Okay. X minus 3 equals 0. So that means x is going to be 3. X plus 2 equals 0. So x is going to be negative 2. Okay. Now we have to find points. So what's going to happen here is we have to plug that equation, or excuse me, not that equation. We have to plug in 3. So first I'm going to plug in x equals 3 back into my system and find all of the answers that work out. Okay? So if it's a linear system, you only got to go back into the line. Okay? So y equals x minus 1 would be y equals, my x is now 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2, so that gives me a y value of 2. Then I'm going to have to go and do my x equals negative 2 and plug that back into y equals x, which is negative 2 minus 1, and I get negative 3. So my 2 points that I get are 3, 2 and negative 2, negative 3. Now what I have to do is, let me scroll back up here and I'll bring them back down just so that I'm scrolling up and down.
Let's do it the old school way. Cursor first, there it is. Now I see.
So 3 squared is going to be 9. 2 squared is going to be 4. 9 plus 4 is 13. So it works out in the first one. 2 is equal to 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. That one works out. So 3 comma 2 checks out. Negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 3 squared is 9. 4 plus 9 is 13. Checks out in the first one. Negative 3 is equal to negative 2 minus 1. Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. So it checks out in both of them. So those are our answers. Okay. You try that one. So let's solve this one for x. We'll go 8 minus 2y there. So then we get y squared minus 10y minus 8 times 8 minus 2y plus 57 equaling 0. All of that simplifies down to be y squared plus 6y minus 7. Which then that is factorable. And we put forward. Y equals negative 7, y equals positive 1. Plug back in. So if I go, what do we got? We got x plus 2 times negative 7 has to equal 8. So that's x minus 14 equals 8. So that's x equals 22. And x plus 2 times 1 equals 8. So that's x plus 2 equals 8. So that's x equals 6. So we get 22 comma negative 7 and 6 comma 1. So negative 7 squared is 49. Negative 7 times negative 10 is positive 70. 8 times 22. 6 carry the 1, 176. 8 times 22, 176, so then that's minus 176 plus 57 has to be 0. Oh, let's see, 49 plus 70 is 119, plus 50 is 169, plus 7 is 176, minus, yep, that works out. We got 0 equals 0 on that one. 22 is 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. 22 minus 14 is 8. Checks out there. 1 squared is 1 minus 10 minus 48 plus 57. So that's negative 9, negative 57 plus 57. That one checks out. 6 plus 2 is 8. Checks out. Yep. Boom. Okay. On your homework this week, you can do the front side.